Party. He'll be the party's first Member of Parliament. He was rejected as a candidate by his Reigate constituency in January. Senior Tories say his defection will make no difference. Adrian Britton reports.
Local Tories are accusing him of dreadful disloyalty. But today at his home in Surrey, Sir George Gardner was refusing to justify his defection.
No, I'm not giving any interviews before tomorrow lunchtime.
In Glasgow, the referendum party leader, Sir James Goldsmith, was being verbally coy about his latest recruit.
We welcome people who want a referendum, want a free vote, proper debate on the whole European issue. It's been stifled by the politicians.
Sir George was deselected in January after repeatedly attacking John Major over Europe. In a statement, he continues the onslaught, accusing the Prime Minister of sitting on the fence over a single currency. Conservative Central Office says it is relaxed about the defection. With continued support from the Ulster Unionists, the government won't lose any major Commons vote. But now Sir George will be a voice on the backbenches, highlighting the Tory divide on Europe. Tories in Reigate described the man they deselected as a sad figure.
It is an act of portrayal, in my view. And therefore, you could argue, well, you know, should he be allowed to do it? Well, the answer is, he is allowed to do it, but I really don't believe it's going to do him any good at all.
And today, Labour's Robin Cook added to Tory grief over Europe, accusing Defence Secretary Michael Portillo and John Redwood of holding xenophobic views. Adrian Britton, ITN, Westminster.
Rebels have seized more territory from government forces in the south of Albania, including the region's main military base. President Berisha must now decide whether to extend a weapons amnesty due to expire tomorrow. Our foreign news correspondent Paul Davis is with the rebels in the southern town of Tepelina.
Mountain villages have become fortresses as a defiant people prepare to defend their newly declared independent state of South Albania. It was only yesterday these rebel fighters took control of the village of Frata outside Tepelina with its strategic position over the main road from the north. These uniforms and most of the guns were looted from army depots. The rebels are aware that an official amnesty for handing in stolen weapons is about to expire, but dismiss the deadline as another of President Berisha's tricks. Far from surrendering their weapons, these fighters are now reinforcing their hilltop positions. Although they say they're confident the men they see as their brothers in the army will not move against them. If that confidence is misplaced, the rebels know they're in serious trouble. They told us the army had moved a column of tanks to within a mile of the village. They fired shots in the air, they said, because they knew the soldiers were listening to them. Just outside the village, we found the government tanks. The crews had indeed been listening to the gunfire. But would they attack the rebels if so ordered? I don't want to fight my brother Albanians, the tank commander admitted, though he added that orders were orders. There's no doubt President Berisha's army outgunned the rebels, but many of his soldiers are now openly admitting they have no stomach for a civil war. Paul Davis, ITN, South Albania.
Here, a doctor at the centre of an AIDS scare is to appear before a General Medical Council disciplinary committee on Monday. Gynaecologist Patrick Ngosa last worked at Whipps Cross Hospital in London, as well as others in Essex and Gloucester. He reported having the HIV virus last month. More than 3,500 women have phoned a special helpline for information. An elderly couple died today when an explosion destroyed part of their house in Colwyn Bay in North Wales. It's thought to have been caused by a gas leak. And Scotland's senior Roman Catholic, Cardinal Winning, says women considering abortion should be offered financial help if they think having the baby will make them hard up. His office said that didn't amount to paying them not to have abortions. The solicitor for the family of the murdered black teenager Stephen Lawrence told ITN tonight that police had made a catalogue of mistakes when they investigated his death. Imran Khan says the family will now lodge a formal complaint against the police. Here's Ian Glover-James.
At this bus stop, 5 white youths stabbed Stephen Lawrence to death, shouting racial abuse. His parents, Neville and Doreen Lawrence, are now lodging an official complaint about the way police investigated the case, and tonight their solicitor explained why.
The police did not knock on doors when they should have done. They did so some 14 hours after the murder. They didn't tap into local intelligence about race and possible suspects. They didn't arrest immediately, but waited some 10 days before arresting, despite phone calls to the police naming suspects.
An inquest last month said Mr. Lawrence was unlawfully killed by 5 white youths. 2 criminal prosecutions, one brought by the Lawrence family, had earlier collapsed, both for lack of evidence. The Metropolitan Police tonight said they still hadn't received the Lawrence family's complaint, but in an unusual move showing police sensitivity to this case, they said they'd already taken steps to ensure it's handled as quickly as possible. Ian Glover-James, ITN at Scotland Yard.
Now today's sports news, and with the details, here's Graham Miller.
Middlesbrough may be struggling in the Premiership, but they're still on course for a cup double. Brazilian star Juninho put Brian Robson's side 1-0 up at Derby, and he set up the second for another foreign import, Fabrizio Ravanelli, who sealed this FA Cup 6th-round tie, Middlesbrough through to the semi-finals for the first time. Meanwhile, Manchester United's successful week in Europe was ruined by struggling Sunderland in the Premiership. Michael Gray got Sunderland's first goal to end a run of 4 straight defeats and renew their hopes for survival. Dennis Bergkamp scored twice for Arsenal in their win over Forest at Highbury. So United's first defeat for 4 months means their lead at the top has been cut to 3 points by Arsenal. Liverpool meet Newcastle on Monday. Bolton moved one step closer to Premiership football with a 7-0 trouncing of Swindon. Alan Thompson set the ball rolling with Bolton's first after Nathan Blake had done the hard part. Bolton have now scored 80 league goals so far. One surprise in Scotland, with First Division Falkirk going through to the Tennent's Cup quarter-finals at the expense of Premier Division Raith. Elsewhere, the FA are to hold an investigation into a pitch invasion at Brighton. It happened after Scott McLeish put Orient 4-3 ahead and celebrated in some style. Several fans ran on. One made a furious attack on Orient's former England captain Ray Wilkins. Wilkins was unhurt. 4 men were arrested. Brighton recently failed with an appeal to win back 2 points following a pitch invasion last October. Damon Hill will start the Australian Grand Prix from the back of the grid in a little over 3 hours' time. He only just managed to qualify for the race. Steve Scott reports from Melbourne.
Last year, victory in Melbourne launched Damon Hill's world title season. 12 months on, and for most of the session, the driver's champion was struggling even to qualify for tomorrow's race. Gearbox problems again kept Hill's car off the track for precious minutes, and it was only on a desperate penultimate lap he scraped through.
Yes, Damon Hill is in by 0.2 of a second.
In a humiliating twist, Hill starts the defence of his title tomorrow from the back row of the grid. Ironically, it was his Williams teammate last year, Jacques Villeneuve, whose quickest lap nearly put qualifying beyond Hill. Villeneuve grabbed pole position with a blistering time. There is cause for some British excitement. Jackie Stewart's new team. His Stewart Ford cars both made tomorrow's race, and with one of them starting in 11th spot, they have a real chance of ending up among the points in their first ever Grand Prix.
But one person who, barring any dramatic events, won't be among the points is Damon Hill. Tomorrow is said to be another depressing day for the reigning world champion, but after qualifying, at least he'll be taking part and not watching helplessly from the pits. Steve Scott, ITN, Melbourne.
ITV will cover the race live starting at 2:10 in the morning. If you miss it then, you can see it at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon here on ITV. Aisha Hansen won Britain's first medal at the World Indoor Athletics Championships in Paris. Her 14.7-metre triple jump earned her a silver medal and set a new British record. Ireland's Sonia O'Sullivan went on to win silver in the 3,000 metres.
Finally, tonight's winning lottery numbers. They are 5, 12, 20, 29, 39 and 42. The bonus number is 22. 15 winning tickets will each receive £550,000. And that's the news tonight. From Graham and me and the ITN weekend team, good night.
Good night.
Hello, good evening. Well, in our part of the world, there are certainly signs of winter giving way to spring, with plenty of fine, mild weather to come in the days ahead. Meanwhile, down under, it's a different story. For the start of the Australian Grand Prix, late summer there, and temperatures up into the low 20s, plenty of sunshine to come. Indeed, much of the continent will be hot and sunny, temperatures as high as 34 in the interior. There is a cyclone, though, brushing the Queensland coast, and there plenty of heavy rain and strong winds for a while. Back home for Mothering Sunday, plenty of cloud to start the day, some patchy rain and drizzle, particularly across the northern parts of England, getting up into southern Scotland too. Further north, though, it's a dry, fine start. But through the day, those cloudy, damp conditions will spread their way northwards. The drizzle, though, tending to die away. At the same time, brighter conditions getting into many southern and eastern parts of England and Wales, with some sunshine to end the day there. Where it does brighten up, temperatures not too bad, up to 10, 11, maybe 13 Celsius in the southeast. 13 is 55 Fahrenheit. But in the north, where it stays damp, particularly with the wind off the sea, will be a good deal cooler. That's it. Enjoy the Grand Prix. Here's a summary.
Power Gen, generating electricity whatever the weather. West Country Weather is sponsored by Furnaceite Smokeless Fuel, the heart of a home in any weather.
Some drizzle in the west tonight with low cloud and fog, temperatures around 6 Celsius. A brighter day tomorrow after a damp start on the south coast, temperatures reaching a mild 14 Celsius.
West Country Weather is sponsored by Furnaceite Smokeless Fuel, the heart of a home in any weather.
An operation goes badly wrong.
Do the closure on your own, okay?
Cynthia?
Is she guilty of malpractice?
What made you think the surgeon was negligent?
I know she was.
Or is someone else at fault?
It's easy for them. They don't have a man's death on their conscience.
Seeking Justice. John Thor's Kavanagh QC, Monday at 8:30 on West Country.